Hello, my name's Caroline Poole and I'm Head of Allied Health Professions at NHS England and NHS Improvement. I've been linking into this project on behalf of the Office of the Chief Allied Health Professions Officer. We know, for those of you who choose to wear a uniform, that this topic will be really important to you. This presentation is going to outline the key objectives of the National Uniforms Project being led by NHS Supply Chain. And as you'd expect with all projects, there are a number of factors that need to be taken into account. It's about 10 minutes long and links to a very short survey so that you can offer your feedback to the proposal for allied health professions uniforms and we can hear your voice. Just to note that paramedics are not included within the scope of this work. The outcomes of this AHP engagement will feed into a national consultation that spans a wider range of healthcare professionals. That'll be launched in the coming weeks and you can contribute to that as well. But for now, we're focusing on the AHPs and I'll pass over now to Kevin to explain the project, what it needs to achieve and how you can engage.
Hello, my name is Kevin Chidlow. It's my privilege to lead the NHS supply chain team, which is facilitating the National Healthcare Uniform Project. Our aim, it's very clear, it's to develop a high quality, fit for purpose garment, and we want to work in conjunction with you, the NHS healthcare professionals. But in addition to this excellent design, it's really important that we meet 5 key project objectives. We want to improve patient and visitor safety by enabling easy identification of those staff roles. We want to enhance the professional identity and image of all of the NHS healthcare workers. Really key to develop a sustainable and environmentally compatible and supportive garments, but they also need to reflect the rich and diverse workforce of the NHS and demonstrate, really important for us to demonstrate value for money throughout this entire project. This approach, it's not easy. It requires balance, it requires trade-offs, and the number of different colours that we choose for particular professions, that will have a significant impact on how we can best achieve all of these outcomes. Now, this is best illustrated by reference to a graphic. Now, at one extreme, we could simply have one colour for all of the AHPs. We could cluster some of those professions together and have maybe 4 colours, or at the other extreme, we have 1 per profession. Now, for each colour, you need a garment for each size, small, extra large, extra whatever it may be. That's required. So you can see how quickly from this graphic how the number of garments just required increases as you add in more and more colour variation. Now, let's look at the 2 extremes in a little bit more detail. The selection of 1 colour, it's simple. All the AHPs would wear the same colour. Now, based on a kind of a recognised retail-based sizing range, this results in 28 different garment types. It's simple, it's clear. It identifies the AHPs as being a professional grouping, but it doesn't really demarcate between your different professions within the grouping. We can drive cost out, we can reduce stock holding, and we can ensure quality. But does this approach really enhance the professional image across the whole profession? Probably not. At the other end of the spectrum, we could have a colour for each separate profession. This results in 305 separate garment types. It's a huge increase. Each profession clearly has its own uniform colour, but there's a trade-off. There's a trade-off with this in terms of we'd need more stock. The lead times would be longer for certain professions, in particular if there were a low number of, if demand was low, there'd be higher prices due to that variation. And let's face it, there's going to be even more complexity here for patients and visitors, and it'll be harder for us to drive a sustainable supply chain because of all of that variation. So, considering all of this and having discussions quite broadly with a number of AHPs, what do we propose? said at the beginning of this presentation that to achieve all of our objectives requires balance, requires a trade-off, and that's no different in the case of colour as it is with many other attributes. We believe quite strongly that the best solution will be to group some of those professions, some of your professions together and create clusters. You know, these clusters would adopt the same colour. Our proposal is the adoption of 4 colours, because that allows us to develop garments which create that professional image, they help patients and visitors, but also we can maintain our desire to develop a sustainable supply chain and deliver value for money. So, what do we propose? We've worked with representatives from a range of AHP professions and propose 4 clusters, as is shown here. We believe they provide the most effective differentiation amongst professions, whilst enabling us to drive all of the other objectives within the project. We're proposing these 4 clusters because we believe it's unlikely that these professions are going to work together in a clinical setting. So the risk of confusion, mixing the 2 professions of 3, 4 professions together is limited. So that's the reason why we think they make a good solution in terms of clustering that meets all of the objectives. But we want to hear from you. So the next step, we'll talk about how we can get your feedback and engagement for this proposal. So that's our proposal, but consultation is at the heart of this project, and this will continue to be the case right up to and beyond the implementation of this project. And very shortly we hope to issue a nationwide, very broad consultation on the whole project. But in the meantime, we really need your thoughts on this idea. It will help us with that consultation. It'll help us going forward. So please give us your thoughts, feedback, by clicking on the link that's shown here and going to a short survey and answering the following questions. Is the proposal to cluster professions a viable and suitable outcome? If yes, are the professional cluster groupings the right ones? And as a supplementary question, do we need to differentiate between seniority within each of the clusters? I'd really like to thank you for your time in viewing this presentation and responding to the survey. Thank you very much indeed.